Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for joining me for another video. Last week I did my wild card previews. I looked at every single team, gave you my thoughts, what I think they might do in the games this weekend. Today I'm going to be reviewing those games. I'm not going to go too in-depth, just give some of my main thoughts on what I saw from these games. Later this week I will give my updated power ranking for the teams left that will be playing in the divisional round. So make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss that. Well on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Would love to have you along for the journey. We are going to start with the games from Saturday. The first one was the Browns and the Texans. This one was pretty simple. It was CJ Stroud being magnificent in any way that you can possibly imagine. This guy has been a stud over the course of the entire season, and that did not change when the lights got bright. CJ Stroud ended up carrying this Texans team the majority of the way. I was hesitant to back Houston because I thought that Cleveland's defense was going to be up for the challenge, but it did not matter what they did. Stroud had an answer, and he really just dominated this game from beginning to end. Shout out to DeMeco Ryans, who continues to do an awesome job with the defense. They held Cleveland to just 14 points, shut them out in the second half. This was the biggest loss for the Browns in the postseason since 1968, and for Stroud, he passed Mike Vick as the youngest quarterback ever to win a playoff game. That's really it from that one. Let's move on to the Dolphins and the Chiefs. And unfortunately for Miami, this went just about how I expected it to. The Dolphins never really had a chance in this game from the beginning when they refused to move it and it was negative 27 degrees. It was pretty obvious that Kansas City was going to be able to come out on top. Their offense, their defense just matches up better in the cold. They are far more physical. For that reason, I didn't think Miami had a shot, and that proved ultimately to be the case. And even more so because the Zebras had KC's back for the entirety of this game. I can't tell you how many holding calls should have been called on that Chiefs offensive line. Did not matter because Mahomes was able to basically do whatever he wanted, including getting a free helmet swap after chipping his helmet late in the game. Now that's supposed to take a timeout from Kansas City, but of course the Zebras thought otherwise. But honestly, it didn't matter the rough calls in this game against the Dolphins because they did not show up here. Tua Tagovailoa under 200 yards. Looked like he did not have answers for the Chiefs defense, which is not super surprising because the Dolphins have not had a win in the postseason since 2000. Patrick Mahomes played just fine. The offensive story really was Isaiah Pacheco, who no one wanted to tackle when it was negative 30. They don't want to tackle him when it's good weather, let alone when you can't feel your body. So Isaiah Pacheco balled, and then of course Rashee Rice did the rest offensively for the Chiefs. The defense for the Chiefs looked stellar. That's going to have to continue if they want a chance at beating Buffalo on the road this week. On to the games for Sunday. We start with the Packers and Cowboys. This was the biggest surprise of the postseason thus far. Dallas absolutely embarrassing themselves, really forgot to show up to this game. It's almost as if they heard all week everyone picking the Cowboys and how the Packers were the youngest team and didn't stand a chance. And then they thought that they could just walk onto the field and all those things were going to happen, which of course was not the case. Dak looked absolutely putrid in this game. I don't care what his stats say at the end of it. When it really mattered early in this game, in the first quarter, in the first half, really, he had some opportunities to keep Dallas in it, to make some big throws, get points on the board, and he was unable to. Brutal interception, even more brutal pick six, one of the worst ones we've seen over the last couple of seasons, and all those things and more really doomed the Cowboys. Jordan Love deserves his flowers. He played inspired football. Great job by Matt LaFleur setting him up for success. And this young Packers team looked like they had all the answers all day long. If I am Dallas, it is time to move on from Mike McCarthy. I don't care how great he's been in the regular season. This is the third straight early round exit for a Dallas team that continues to dominate when it doesn't matter. So for me, McCarthy, as great as he's been, they need to move on and find a better option, someone that can make noise in the playoffs. To the Rams and Lions game, this is one that I was probably looking forward to the most, and it was all about the quarterback duo and the battle between Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff, and they did not disappoint. Both of these guys played absolutely incredible ball. They made some throws that were unbelievable into very tight windows, and they got the help of their playmakers as both of these teams fought to the bitter end. This game was all about the Lions defense holding LA to field goals when they got in close and then capitalizing on their own opportunities. It was tough to see either of these teams lose, but in the end, the Lions get their first postseason victory since 1991. To Monday's games, we start with the Steelers and the Bills. This one went about exactly as I expected. As an offense, they were never able to put it together, especially consistently. That was the case in this game again. Josh Allen looked like a superstar, as he usually does when he's not turning it over. 277 total yards, 4 touchdowns, and most importantly, 0 turnovers. He didn't make any poor decisions or bad mistakes that cost his team. And if he continues to do that with the way this Buffalo defense is playing and the way the playmakers have stepped up, that running game with Cook as well, I think the Bills could definitely make some noise. They will be a headache for the Chiefs this week. Speaking of teams who are not supposed to be in the playoffs, hello, Philadelphia. Their season mercifully comes to an end after a 32-9 shellacking by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I had this game pegged as well because Philly has really been falling apart for a month and a half, and this was just the final nail in the coffin. Offensively, they couldn't get anything going whatsoever. They refused to run the ball, and Tampa Bay, had they been able to catch balls early, this one could have been done by halftime. So while Philly looked like they were hanging around, it was more or less just delaying the inevitable. They never really had a true chance of winning this game, especially without A.J. Brown. The defense for Tampa Bay played excellent, and only one quarter did they give up any points whatsoever. So as bad as Philly's offense has been, that is still an impressive feat. And if we go back, that is now 7 out of their last 8 quarters where they have shut out the opponent. Baker Mayfield able to gut it out with a 3-touchdown performance. He has been one of the more underrated players in the NFL this year. He could easily win Comeback Player of the Year as well after an excellent season and this awesome playoff win for the Bucs. And that's all I got for you guys. Just a quick review today. Like the video, subscribe to Relentless Press so that you do not miss any more content. I will be getting to the divisional round playoff power rankings later on in the week, so make sure you hit notifications so that you are updated when that comes out. This is Relentless Press. I am your host, Abraham Opatz, and I will see you next time.